Hi, I'm Mark Gaylor. I've been a professional photographer for some 40 years and I've carried an awful lot of gear from place to place during that time. Now my preference for camera bags has changed as camera systems have changed, and I've moved from predominantly using backpacks to using messenger bags. Now a couple of new messenger bags have caught my eye. These are the Pilot messenger bags. So I just wanted to walk you through these bags to show you how they complement my own workflows in photography. My preference for using messenger bags comes from the fact that I like quick and easy access to the gear that I'm carrying. Also, carrying a small messenger bag means that I'm not going to pack everything, including the kitchen sink, on a shoot just in case I need it. So I do think carefully about the gear I'm taking on location. Now I do use a small backpack when I'm carrying a 200-600 attached to a full frame camera, but if I can get away with it, I'll carry a 100-400 lens on as well as the full frame camera. Now with the new Alpha 1 camera, which is megapixel rich, I do have the option of cropping in post rather than carrying one of those much heavier zoom lenses. Now Mike O'Connor captured this image of myself and a group of other photographers on top of a sand dune in Western Australia, and I pointed out to Mike that I was the photographer in the middle of the group there. He said, "How do you know it's you?" And I said, "I'm the only one not carrying a backpack and a tripod that weighs between 2 and 3 kilograms. I am traveling light. I really don't want to be a pack mule when I'm working all day on location." Now I would carry just the Sony Alpha 7C in that bag with the compact zoom lens and a couple of wide aperture primes, and there you can see one of my tabletop tripods. I have a Leo Photo MT03 there. Now that weighs just 2.75 kilograms or 6 pounds, and that includes the camera bag, and so that is very portable in a light messenger bag. And you can see it's not really overcrowded, and there's even room for an iPad in this think tank. Now when I'm moving a lot more gear to a new location, I have been using a Brixton Owner bag. Now it's not ideal because it doesn't go over the handle of the wheelie bag, but it does go in front of the seat in front of me on a plane. So most airlines classify this as the laptop bag. So I've never really had this weighed by the airlines. That does allow me to carry on more than the 7 kilograms. Yes, I know it's supposed to be the combined weight, but most airlines don't police this very well. If I was going to carry with much more weight, and I have done this previously, is I would be looking at a messenger bag with a waist straps to take the weight off one shoulder, because if you're carrying more than say 3-4 kilograms in a messenger bag, it will start to dig a groove in your shoulder. Now I don't think that I've ever had the perfect messenger bag sort of a workflow that I've got, so I've always been on the lookout for improvements by camera bag manufacturers, and this has drawn me to the Pilot messenger bags made by Wotancraft. These come as the 7L and the larger 10L versions. This comes in two colors, khaki and the charcoal, and it's the charcoal that I prefer. This is really well built, this Pilot bag. It uses a fabric called Cordura, which is 60% thinner, 50% lighter and 10 times stronger than wax cotton. And this is a much better build quality than that small think tank. Now, one of the other great advantages over these messenger bags, over the previous messenger bags that I've been using, is these are waterproof. When it starts raining, I don't have to look for the rain cover to cover the bag, because the bags themselves are waterproof. So that is one of the key advantages that I was actually looking for in a new messenger bag. And as I said previously, the 10L that I will use as my laptop bag that will go under the seat in front of me is going to now go on and over that handle of the wheelie bag. So I've got that perfect scenario there where I have the 10L over the handle of the bag, and inside of the 7 kilogram carry-on bag I can actually fit 2 small messenger bags, which could include the 7L and my old Think Tank 30i messenger bags. Now there is the 10L going comfortably under the seat in front of me, leaving me a little bit of leg room as well. And of course that is very useful for moving larger amounts of gear, and in this case that would be my laptop gear as well. I have seen some pictures online where people carry messenger bags on their back when riding motorcycles, but I would much prefer to take that off my back and put it in the tank bag of my motorcycle. And so there you can see the 7L comfortably fitting in inside a motorcycle tank bag there. One of the great things about these pilot bags, and it's again another thing that I was looking for, is the level of customization that you can engage in to add additional gear to the outside of the bag. So yes, the bag might be full with your 3-lens setup there, but you will want to carry maybe a full-size tripod. I typically avoid those larger tripods, but when you go online to order your bag, you'll see those add-ons that you can order. Now I will work with a lighter tripod than those tripods. If I'm going for more than the tabletop tripod, I'll go for that Leofoto LS223C, C for carbon. Now you can see that going underneath the bag there with those adjustable camera straps. But there are a couple of other options with these pilot bags. I could just put it under those non-adjustable straps on the top of the camera bag, or I could put it into the cavity. There's actually a cavity that goes in between the front of the bag and the main carrying compartment. This would also be a useful space for putting a coat if you're not currently wearing it. Now the bags ship with a buckle that is quite easy to use, but you can upgrade to their Fidlock system, which is an extra US $8 there, and I would encourage you to do that. I find that I can actually use this one-handed. So I'm actually holding an iPhone filming myself, and because it's magnetic, it's a very easy way to release and connect that again just with one hand, because remember, as a photographer, your other hand may have your camera that you're holding. On the 10L and 7L there is a rear pocket. Now I won't use this on the 7L, but I will make good use of this on the 10L for my travel itinerary and boarding tickets, etc., that I can get quick and easy access to. There is also a front pocket which is great to put anything that's loose, which I would avoid putting in the main space of the camera bag, because I don't want to be scratching the lenses or the screen or monitor on my camera. So that might include your remote timer, spare battery, memory card, even your car keys perhaps. And there is quite a lot of room in that front pocket on both the 7L and 10L. Now there is a hidden pocket on both of the 7L and 10L bags, which is quite difficult to spot. You typically only realize it's there if you've watched one of Wotancraft's video or this video. And this is a great place to put valuables such as your money, etc., if you're not carrying them on your person. When you go online, you're going to see these expansion packs. There's a zipper pouch and a drawstring pouch. My personal favorite of these is the zipper pouch. You can also see in that center image there's the connectors that will connect the bag very, very quickly to the outside of the bag. Now if you don't overcrowd these, you can actually attach them and make good use of the cover of the bag, which will cover the tops of these expansion packs. Here you can see a couple of the ideas that I would perhaps use the zipper pouch for, which is the tabletop tripod, or my battery charger, camera card reader, and a few cables, etc. So here are the fasteners going into the loops on the front of the bag, and as you can see on the image on the right, the cover of the bag covers the top of the expansion pack. So again, thinking about that waterproofing is a good well thought out system there. And I can show you how quickly it is to detach one of these bags, or just to click it back into place. And of course, you might decide to carry one of these pouches on the straps. I would consider, rather than putting maybe a larger, heavier item such as a lens inside one of these zipper pouches and clicking it onto the front of the bag, I would just get out the strap and then carry it over the shoulder that is not carrying the camera bag. So again, a good way of distributing weight if you are going to carry an additional lens. You can see there it's attached to the front of the bag, but I really probably wouldn't do this. I would quickly detach it from there and again carry it over one shoulder. Now the drawstring may look like it's the same physical size as the zipper pouch, but I actually struggled to get my prime lenses into that drawstring pouch. So my personal preference is to go for that zipper pouch there. Now there are a number of internal organizers you can use. Again, it's a way of avoiding having loose items rattling around in your camera bag. Now this is a well thought out system. As I said, Peak Design have their everyday messenger with 3 large spaces, but not much room for organizing your bits and pieces. Now these will happily just stick to the sides of the camera bags because they're all Velcro backed, except for the one in the bottom left, which again goes on the outside, which could be used for coins or filters that you're using. Now I possibly wouldn't use this on the 7L because when I put my cameras in the 7L there isn't a lot of room for these internal organizers, but these are certainly very useful for the larger 10L. As I've said, I've used these for a range of different accessories. One of these pouches with the zip I'm actually currently using to put my 1.4 times teleconverter into. And anything that can be rattling around, such as there's my Peak Design clip going into one of these open top pouches, or one of my Z series batteries there. Now if you were going for the smaller bag, the 7L, this would comfortably fit a full frame mirrorless camera such as the A9 or Alpha 1 or A7R4, and one of the larger primes there, that's the 35mm f1.4, which is a little bit fatter than sort of the 1.8 primes, but there's quite a lot of room there, and you could even squeeze in an iPad Pro into that back pocket there. If you do go for that 3 lens scenario there, maybe using the Alpha 7C as a smaller camera, you are going to see that it bulges slightly, and so that iPad is going to struggle to go into that back compartment there. So my personal preference is just to take that internal divider out to give you a little bit more room for your camera and 2 lenses or 3 lenses into the bag. And as you can see there, it's a snug fit, but I've got 3 primes and the Alpha 7C. You could squeeze in the A1 or A7 cameras in there as well and go in maybe slightly sideways on that, but you can get that system in. If you are going for larger lenses such as the 100-400, yes, I've shown you can actually get a full frame camera attached to that 100-400 into the 7L, but it is going to take up the whole compartment. So if you're wanting to take additional lenses and maybe a second body, you are going to be looking at that larger 10L bag from the Pilot there. So to show you what this would look like with maybe an Alpha 1 or 100-400 and 3 primes going into the bag, you can see it's going in there plus a 13-inch MacBook Pro there. Now I wouldn't really work with this much weight all day with a 10L. It's good for carrying and moving camera gear to a new location, but I would probably want to decant down to the 7L and just go out with less gear. Because if you are going to carry more than 5 kilos on one shoulder, you would be advised to look at a bag that offers a waist straps. Now I'm not going to go back to working with such heavy messenger bags, but if you're thinking of working with over 5 kilos, that is certainly something to consider. Here's the 7L with the Alpha 1 and 100/400, and you can see it's a comfortable fit. If I was going out with a second body and a couple of primes, I would just put them in a second small messenger bag and put one on each shoulder. Or if it's not a raining day, I would just put the 100/400 on a sling strap, and then on the other shoulder I would carry the messenger bag with my Alpha 7C and 3 primes, or the compact zoom and 2 primes. So here is my traveling workflow that I will be using from now on, because I'm really sold on these pilot bags. So I'll be using the 7L as I've described in this video tutorial, and also the 10L as my messenger bag. Now, because sometimes I do work with 2 messenger bags, I will still be using my Think Tank for the A1 and 100/400 until such time that I take delivery of an additional Pilot 7L bag. You can see both those smaller messenger bags going inside of a 7 kilogram carry-on wheelie there. Now this would come in at slightly over 7 kilos, possibly topping even 8 kilos. But if it was weighed and the airline is inviting me to lighten the load, I would simply reach in and take out a camera with lens, and then it would probably weigh in at the 7 kilos as required. That concludes my video review of the Pilot messenger bags. If you've enjoyed this, just subscribe. I've got a lot of information as a Sony Alpha ambassador. If you're definitely a Sony photographer, you'll get a lot of use from both my website and patreon.com/Mark Gaylor. I can give you ongoing support. Cheers.